Good morning, yogis. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. We'll just take a moment to become present. So find yourself a nice, comfortable seated position on a blanket or a cushion block, something that will help you to have a nice, tall, long spine, and open your diaphragm, open your chest, and soften or close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Then soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is. Soft and gentle. Breathing life into you with each inhale. And relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, I'm thinking the sun's starting to come out a little bit here. Yay! For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout today. So for this morning's intention, I'd like to talk about, my intention is to talk about the fourth of the 8 limbs of yoga, the fourth being pranayama. And basically, the first thing we do when we're born is to take a breath. And the last thing we do before we die is take a breath. Breathing is the source of life, and we do it quite unconsciously. Our natural breath varies based on our physical, our mental, and our spiritual condition. Pranayama is about breathing consciously. Prana is Sanskrit for life force. As I say in the beginning, breathing life into you. So with each inhale, it's the life force. And the yama is control, means control in Sanskrit. So with pranayama, it starts with your awareness of your breath, focusing on controls and techniques to guide our breath into our well-being, to have it aid us in our well-being. We can use these techniques for yoga, such as in our asana practice or in our meditation practice, or we can use them off the mat to, for example, reduce anxiety, to increase energy, and perhaps to sleep better, which is where I fell in love with pranayama. It improved my sleep tremendously. So for our pranayama session today, I'm going to revisit the foundation of the breathing, which is the Dirga pranayama. And I'm going to back up a little because I'm going to have us put our hands on our chest and feel things. So I want to be able to have you see that. All right. So to start with, we often do this for pranayama, but I'm going to have you put your hands on your chest, kind of more toward your shoulders, because with your breastbone there, it's so stable. You're not going to feel the breathing, feel the movement in your hands as much as if you move them to the side. So with your hands a little bit to the side of your breastbone, take a deep inhale and feel their hands lifting up from your chest, or just any type of movement. And this is where we typically have our natural breath, our unconscious breath. It's up in our chest area. And up in our chest area is often where, when we have that fight or flight instinct, that's because our breath's all up in here too. So if you can feel your hands moving, and it does take a little bit of effort to do that. So again, pranayama is about breathing consciously, being aware of your breath and controlling it for our well-being. And then we're going to move our hands to our ribs. So if you can make like a cup pose with your hands and wrap it around your ribs. And then breathe in and out and feel your rib cage expand. And here you're going to get a little bit more movement. So this incorporates your chest and now your ribs. And then we're going to move down to our stomach. And right where our rib cage is, there's a little V shape here, then kind of a notch. You put your one hand over the other and kind of put your hand on that notch. That's the bottom of our diaphragm. And you breathe in, and I know it's getting to be swimsuit season, so you're going to be working on keeping your tummy tucked in, but for the purpose of breathing properly, you want to have your tummy kind of protrude with your hands. So deep exhale and inhale will move your hands in and out. So we're going to pull this all together, and to pull it all together, visualize a nice wave, like an ocean wave, but it's a wave of breath, and it's going to start with your stomach. It's going to build under your hands, protrude your hands out, and then follow that roll, that wave of air up to your ribs, and then follow it finally up to your chest. And then once it reaches your chest, you can exhale, visualize that wave of water, that ocean wave of breath flowing away from your chest, flowing away from your ribs, and flowing away from your stomach. Just spend a few moments following your breath like a wave of air, a wave of water from your stomach up to your ribs, up to your chest, and then visualizing it flowing away from your chest, away from your ribs, and away from your stomach. And this helps with the exchange. What your intention is to exchange the oxygen and carbon dioxide, the CO2. And your body needs both of those, but it needs to have them circulate through your body too. And the deep breathing helps that circulation. It aids in circulation of sending that oxygen throughout your body, the CO2 throughout your body. So it helps, again, with your well-being. So another thing that you could do is employing the mudra. And this is a technique I read about. And I don't know if it's mind over matter or what, but I think it does work. So if your palms are open and you're just breathing normally, naturally, your breath is kind of up in your chest area. But if you bring your index and your thumb together, that breath drops from your chest down into your ribs. And it almost does it automatically. And then the third part is to bring your middle finger, index finger, and thumb all together in the mudra. And that will drop the breath all the way down into your stomach. So you have that Dirga breath all the way down and up. So this might be a mudra to employ when you're meditating to take that conscious breathing of all the way from your stomach up to your chest and down and put it into your subconscious. So we're going to do a asana practice today that's going to be, hopefully, if I timed it right, a little shorter, and we're going to revisit a pranayama at the end of the class. So I will meet you on the mat. So we'll start today with some shoulder shrugs. So when we're doing each pose this morning, I'd like you to just be aware of your breath, and we'll do a few that I intentionally want you to focus on your breath. But the Ujjayi breath, that one that sounds like Darth Vader, or it's also called the ocean breath because of the sound emanating from the back of your throat, that's your soundtrack for your yoga practice. It's designed for your yoga mat to allow you to really key in on how your breath is and listen to your breath for shallowness or it being strained. What you want to work toward is having it feel, your breath feel full and deep. So if you're noticing it being shallow or strained, back away from the pose and just, again, try to find a spot where your breath becomes deeper and fuller. So we'll start with shoulder shrugs, and envision when you're coming up, bringing your shoulders up to your ears, you're inhaling, and then bringing them down, you're exhaling, and creating that circle, inhaling up towards your ears, exhaling down toward the mat, inhaling up toward your ears, exhaling down toward your mat. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, and then reverse the direction. Inhale up, exhale down. Just loosen up any tension that you might have in your upper back. Alrighty, and then let's go to our sun breath. Bringing your fingertips to your mat and the sides, and then also employ your Ujjayi breath here. So inhale, bringing your hands up overhead, and exhale, bringing them back down to the mat. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, and bring them back down. And inhale, bringing them up, and then we're going to twist to the left side of the mat, bringing your right hand down on your right knee, left hand down behind your hips to the mat, and then breathe in, inhale, and breathe out, exhale. Inhale, lifting your hands up, sweep them over to the right side of your mat, bringing your left hand down on your right knee, bringing your right hand behind your hip. A deep inhale and exhale, lifting up again. Inhale, up and over to the left side, bringing your hands down, exhaling, deep inhale, deep exhale. Inhale, sweeping your hands up one last time over to the right side, bringing your hands down with the exhale. Deep inhale and deep exhale. Come back to center. Bring your fingertips out to the side again. Do some seated side twists, or side stretches rather. So with your right fingertips down on the mat, lift your left arm up overhead, and then bend your right elbow toward the mat, and that'll tip you over to the right side for a side stretch. You want to exhale when you're tipping over to the right. Then inhale, bring your hand back up, bring your left fingertips to the mat, bring your right arm up overhead, and then exhale, tipping your left elbow down toward the mat and tipping over to the left of the mat while you exhale. Inhale, lift up. And we'll do that again on the other side. So bring your right fingertips to the mat, left arm up overhead, right elbow toward the mat, tipping yourself to the right. Inhale, lift up. And one last time to the left. Left fingertips down, right arm goes up. Inhaling, exhale, bend your elbow toward the mat and tip over to the left. And then inhale, come back up. We'll come up into tabletop position on your hands and knees. Wrists are right below your shoulders, knees right below your hips, navel's tucked to the spine, creating a nice flat back. You're gently pushing down in your fingertips to create space between your shoulders and your ears. We'll start with some cat-cows. So exhale, rounding your back, tipping your pelvis and your head down. Inhale, bring your head up, lifting it up, lifting your pelvis up. Exhale, rounding your back, tilting your head down, your pelvis down. Inhale, lifting your head and your pelvis up. Exhale, rounding your back, bringing your pelvis and head down. Inhale, lift your head up. Tailbone goes up. And continue at your own pace. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling deeply. And become aware of how your breath feels. If it's strained in either the cat or cow position. And come back to a flat back to tabletop. Then we're going to do cat-cow, only we're going to reverse the breathing. See if that feels better or not so better. So instead of exhaling when you round the back, I want you to inhale when you round the back. Or if you've been doing it, just do whatever the opposite of what you've been doing. So inhale, rounding the back up, and then exhale, lifting the head and tailbone up. Inhale, rounding the back. And see if you notice any more constriction in your breath doing it this way. And then come back to a flat back. Maybe you can take that exercise off the mat with you. So when you are doing something physical, like gardening or other forms of exercise, see if switching it a little bit will actually help the flow of breath. So the next thing we're going to do is modified plank and gate pose. So we're going to kickstand our left foot outside of the mat. Bring our right shoulder over our right wrist. Extend our right foot down to the bottom of the mat, pointing our toe. We're going to lift our right arm up to the sky. And then send it forward to the front of the top of the mat. And then inhale, bringing yourself up onto your knee. Bringing your right hand down to your right thigh. Lifting your left arm up overhead. This is the gate pose. And then exhale, bringing your left hand back down to the mat, right hand overhead, almost like a side angle, extended side angle form. Then inhale, come back up to gate pose. And exhale, back down to modified plank. And one last time, inhale up to gate pose. And then back down to modified plank. And bring both hands to the mat, back to tabletop. And we'll do that on the other side. So kickstand your right foot out. Right wrist is under your right shoulder. Left foot extends to the bottom of the mat. Sweep your left hand up and over to the sky, opening your chest. And then drop that hand toward the front of the mat. Then inhale, bringing that hand up, placing it on your left thigh, sweeping your right hand overhead, gate pose on the other side. Exhale, bringing the right hand back down to the mat, sweeping the left hand overhead, back to modified plank. Inhale, back up to gate pose. And exhale, back down, modified plank. And inhale one last time, all the way up, gate pose. And then back down. And you bring both hands down to tabletop. And then we're going to kneel on our heels. So this is one option for kneeling. Another option is curling your toes under and kneeling down. Or a third option would be just kneeling with your torso up. So we're going to relax our shoulders and roll them to the back, interlacing our fingers in back of us. So this is it to a yoga lock. And then this one we can experiment too with inhaling and out and exhaling. So if you inhale, extending your arms out, And then exhale, bringing your interlaced fingers to the right side of your hip. Inhale, reach out back again. Exhale, bringing your interlaced fingers to the left hip. Inhale, out. Exhale to the right. Inhale, out. Exhale to the left hip. Inhale, out. Exhale to the right hip. Okay, so let's switch it up and then do the inhale here on the while your hands are on your right hip. And then exhale, extending them out. Inhale, bringing them to the side, left hip. Exhale, sending them out. Inhale to the right hip. Exhale, extending them out. Inhale to the left hip. Exhale, sending them out. And lastly, inhale to the right hip. See if maybe that didn't have any change of strain or deepness in your breath, or maybe it did. So just experiment. You don't have to follow what I'm saying when I say inhale and exhale. Oftentimes I get lost anyway where I am my inhales and exhales. So let's come back up to tabletop, tuck your toes under, and we're gonna walk our hands back, curl up onto our toes, come up onto the balls of our feet, and then press down, lift up into mountain. So we'll go through our mountain essentials. Toes are pointing to the straight edge of the mat. You lift your toes up off the mat and spread them wide, bringing them back down to the mat. Lift your heels up off the mat and then bring them back down. Legs are nice and straight and strong. Gentle bend in your knees. Navel's tucked into your spine. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Your spine is nice and long. Back of your neck is nice and long. Chin is tucked slightly toward your chest, kind of pushing it back toward your neck. The crown of your head is reaching up to the sky. And we'll sweep our hands up with a big inhale. And exhale, come down, forward fold, bending your knees generously, bringing your hands to the mat. And this is every week I say, just check in with your body. And if you feel any tension, send a breath, deep breath, inhale, exhale to that spot. And breaths can be very nourishing. It nourishes your body, like I mentioned, it needs to send those oxygen and carbon dioxide throughout your body. So it needs to have your body nourished. So inhale, lift up halfway, half forward fold, flat back. And then exhale, forward fold, bringing the crown of your head toward the ground. And then inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up overhead, lifting yourself up onto your tippy toes. Come into palm tree and just sway here for a few moments. Remembering to breathe. And that ujjayi breath, it sounds like the wind going through the tree. And bring your heels back down, bring your hands back down for forward fold, bending your knees to support your lower back. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. Exhale, bringing your crown of your head down toward the ground. And inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up overhead. And bring your palms together, interlacing your fingers. I know you can't see mine, but interlace your fingers with your index finger, your pointer finger, pointing up to the sky. So you have this kind of steeple thing. And then we're going to do a side stretch. We usually do supported side stretch. This is actually a side stretch. So you kind of bump out your hips to, when you lean to the right, bump out your hips to the left, and you lean over. And remember to breathe. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, bump out your right hip a little bit and stretch to the left. Inhale, come back up. Bump out your left hip, stretch to the right. Inhale, come back up. And one last time, bump out your right, stretching to the left. And inhale, come back up. Bring your hands down, forward fold, bending your knees, support your lower back. Inhale, halfway up, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold, dropping your crown of your head toward the ground. And then again, sweeping your hands all the way up, overhead, palms together, bring your hands to your heart center. And then extend them out in front of you. We'll do what I call the international yoga twist. So with your fingers out in front of you, you're going to make a big semicircle, 180-degree sweep with your right hand, turning your body to the right, bringing your left hand to your right shoulder. And then come back to center. And that would be an inhale back to center. So exhale, do it on the other side. Make this big round circle, half circle with your left hand, bringing your right hand to your left shoulder. Then inhale, come back to center. Exhale to the right, all the way to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. One last time to the right. Exhale. Inhale back to center and exhale to the left. And then back to center. Inhale, sweeping your hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, half forward fold. Forward fold, dropping your crown of your head to the ground. And inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up overhead. Palms together, bringing hands to heart center. Then placing the palms of your hands on the back of your hips, fingertips pointing down. Feet are hip width apart. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked to your chest, and then just drop your shoulders back for a supported back bend. Careful not to drop your head back. And don't forget breathing. And then come back up. We're going to inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead. And exhale, forward fold. Bringing both hands to the mat. And we're going to extend both legs to the back of the mat, coming into plank pose. So your wrists are right below your shoulders. Your legs are nice and strong with your heels pushing back, and you are elevating, tucking your navel to your spine, elevating your hips slightly. And then you can come down to the mat, gently coming down, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Either way, keep your elbows tucked to your side. And then extend your hands back toward the back of the mat. Tops of your hands are resting on the mat. Your chin is resting on the mat. We'll do a few locusts here. So find your hip bones snug on the mat and try to keep them snug and attached to the mat as opposed to lifting them when you're lifting your leg. So just lift your leg. So start with our right leg, lift it up and then back down. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, back down. Then inhale, lift both legs up and then back down. Again, on the right side, just lift the right leg up and back down. Left leg goes up, back down. And this time lift both legs and both arms up. So your arms are in an airplane mode. And then come back down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. And we'll do a baby cobra. So you're lifting your hands off the mat and opening up your chest, lifting your head up, creating a gentle back bend. Then put your hands back down on the mat and gently push from the mat. You don't need to really push hard. Try to create a little gentle bend in your back, keeping your hips again on the mat for cobra. And then push all the way up to tabletop and then drop your hips back down to your ankles, extending your arms, come into child's pose. And I notice when my breath goes into child's pose, or when I go into child's pose, my breath is pretty brisk. It's breathing rapidly, and I wait until it actually comes to a nice controlled pace. So then I know that I'm at a nice spot with my breathing, my body. And then we'll come back up to tabletop, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up to the sky, coming into downward dog. And we'll pedal out here for a few moments. And then on the inhale, we're going to bring our right knee to our right elbow. So inhale, lift your right knee, bring it to the right elbow. And exhale, bring it back, pedal out. Inhale, right knee to right elbow, pushing off with your left toes. And then back, pedal out. And on the third one, we're going to bring our right foot between our hands. So inhale, lifting your right foot up, bringing it between your hands. So you're in runner's lunge with your knee right over your ankle. Back leg is nice and strong and active. Heel pushing to the back of the mat. Plant your left hand down into the mat and sweep your right hand up to the sky for a nice twist. And then bring your right hand back down. Bring your left knee back down to the mat. Your left top of your foot down to the mat to low lunge. Then we're going to lift both hands up, creating a nice gentle back bend. And then bring your hands back down to the mat. Come back into runner's lunge, tucking your toe under. We're going to go into a high lunge from here. So you can do it in 2 phases. So you're going to push down your front foot, your right foot, lifting up come to your knee, hands to your knee, and then you can come all the way up. Or if you are able to do it in one fell swoop, that's great. And then sweep your hands up overhead. And then we're going to straighten our front leg, sweeping our hands back to airplane pose. So our front leg is straight. Hands are in the back of airplane. If this is too unstable for you, then you can pivot your back foot down and come into warrior one pose. So inhale, lifting your hands up to the sky, bending your knee, come into high lunge. And then exhale, move your hands back to airplane mode, straightening your front leg. Inhale one more time, all the way up. And exhale, straightening your leg, moving your hands back, airplane mode. And then bring your hands back down to the mat. Bring your right foot, your front foot to the back to downward dog. And we'll walk our feet slowly up to our hands, coming into forward fold. And then slowly come back up. Bring your hands together overhead. And then bringing them to your heart center. And take a few deep breaths here. We'll do that on the other side. So sweeping your hands up overhead, come into forward fold, placing both hands on the mat, extending both feet to the back of the mat, come into plank. Then navel's tucked to the spine, elevating your hips slightly. And then lower down, chaturanga, or knees, chest, chin. Bringing your hands alongside of you, top of your hands to the mat, your chin to the mat. We'll lift, make sure your hips are square on the mat. Lift your right leg up, half locust, and then your left leg goes up and down. And then bring both legs up and down. Right leg again goes up and down. Left leg goes up and down. And then lift both legs and both arms off the mat. Airplane arms. And come back down. Bringing your hands below your shoulders, but lifting them off the mat. Lift your head up off the mat, opening your chest for baby cobra. Elbows are tucked to your side. And then bring your hands to the mat and gently push up, lifting your chest up for cobra. And then push all the way up into tabletop and lower your hips down to your ankles, extending your arms for child's pose. Take a nice couple deep breaths here. Inhale, come back up, tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up to downward dog, and pedal out here for a moment. Chest should be reaching toward your thighs, hips extended up to the sky. Weight is in your fingertips, not in your wrist. Then inhale, lifting your left leg, your left knee to your left elbow. And then back again, pedal out. Left knee comes to your left elbow. And then back again. Pedal out. And then this time we're going to bring our left foot between our hands. So inhale, lifting your left foot up, bring it between your hands. Coming into runner's lunge. Just check to see your knees over your ankle. Back leg is strong. Back heel is pushing to the end of the mat. Plant your right hand down, sweeping your left hand up to the sky. And then back down again. Bring your right knee rather, to the mat, the top of your right foot down to the mat, and then lift up for low lunge. And then back down again. Bring your hands back down. Tuck your foot under, come back up into runner's lunge. And we'll go into high lunge. Again, you can do it in 2 phases. So you're pushed down in your front foot, come up, place your hands on your left knee for phase 1, and then get stable, come up to phase 2. Again, you can pivot your back foot down to provide more stability. And you can lift your hands up to the sky. And then swing them back to airplane arms while you're straightening out your front leg. Inhale, sweep your hands back up. Exhale, sweep them back down, straighten out your front leg. And one last time, sweep up. And exhale, straightening out your leg, airplane arms. And then bring your hands back down to the mat. Bring your front foot back to meet your other foot, coming into downward dog. And just pedal out here for a moment. Then bring both knees down to the mat, to tabletop. And we'll do a few bird dogs here. Little variation on the bird dog. So you're in tabletop, wrists right below your shoulders, knees below your hips. Navel's tucked to your spine. And for this one, we're going to keep our knees just a little bit apart, not together like we typically do. Then lift the right leg up, left arm goes up. And then we're going to bring our left elbow and our right knee together underneath our torso. Exhale, stretching them both out again. Inhale, knee to elbow, opposite knee to elbow. Exhale, stretch them out. Inhale, knee to elbow. Exhale, stretch them out. And one last time, knee to elbow. And bring both knee and hand back down. And we'll do that on the other side. Lift your left leg up, right arm goes up. And then bring your right elbow to your left knee. Extend them back out. Inhale, knee to elbow. Exhale, send them back out. Inhale, knee to elbow. Send them back out. One last time, knee to elbow. And send them back out. Bring both hand and foot or knee to the mat. And for our last pose, we'll do thread the needle. So in tabletop, navel's tucked to your spine. Sweep your left arm up to shoulder height. And sweep it underneath your torso, bringing your left shoulder and your left ear down to the mat. And you can keep your right hand down on the mat for stability, or place it on the back of your hip, or to open up your chest, stretch your right hand up to the sky. Can't breathe upside down. And then bring your right hand back down to the mat. Push down into your right hand to lift up back to tabletop. So I have breath awareness there. I can't breathe when I'm upside down. I can't talk and breathe when I'm upside down. So on the other side, so we'll sweep our right arm up to shoulder height and sweep it under our torso, bringing our right shoulder, right ear to the mat. Bring your left hand, keeping it either on your hip or straight up to the sky. And then bring it back down to the mat. Pushing down your left hand, come back up into tabletop. So for our last part today, I'd like to do another pranayama. So as I mentioned, pranayama is the fourth limb. You can come in your comfortable seated position, sorry. So it's the fourth limb of the 8 limbs of yoga. And so there's a sequence to this. So often in our classes, we do the pranayama in the beginning of the class, kind of get our lungs working for our asana practice. In the idea of the 8 limbs of yoga, it all leads to meditation. That's kind of the goal. The asana, as I mentioned last time, is to be seated with oneself. The whole purpose of an asana is to be comfortably seated with oneself. So it's like a single pose for meditation. And the pranayama is also to still your body, clear your mind for meditation. So this technique, I don't think we've done this before. It's called box breath. And it's a form of kumbhaka, which is a breath retention pose. And so we're gonna breathe on the inhale. We're gonna pause for the same length and then exhale and then pause at the bottom of the exhale for the same length. So we're gonna inhale to the count of 4, pause at the top of the inhale to the count of 4, exhale to the count of 4, and then pause for a count of 4. And this particular kumbhaka actually really helps still and clear the mind. So this might be something that you may want to do prior to your own meditation. There's different forms of this where people will just pause at the top, breathing life into you, more energy, and then just have a natural flow after that, or pause at the bottom if you want to try to relax more, calm down if you have anxiety. Pausing at the bottom through the exhale will serve that purpose. So let's begin. So I'm going to count to the 4. We're going to inhale. Well, you'll get the idea. So inhale, 1. Oops, I'm going to actually use my cue for the number 1. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Just come back to your natural breath. We'll just try one more round of that. And then when we pause or finish at the end, try out those mudras. See if you can feel any different. Again, the index to thumb will drop the breath to your ribs, and then all 3, middle, index, and thumb, will drop the breath fully down into your stomach and back up again. But for the box breath, don't worry about that part. So again, we'll start. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And pause, 2, 3, 4. Return to your natural breath.